USA since Charlie was killed, just so you guys know, this is a fact, has made more than $100 million. That is separate from the $40 million they made at Mar-a-Lago.
We have the most amazing Turning Point USA family. They've rallied around myself, my children, and, chosen family is everything. And then, of course, we're blessed with our family.
How are his parents doing? Because his parents are private. We saw them for the first time at the funeral.
Yes.
You did such a beautiful job there.
My mom is Charlie and my mom. Well, Charlie's family's there. Everyone's hanging in there. We're doing the best to be expected.
Let's talk about something that's been rubbing a lot of people the wrong way lately. Erika Kirk keeps popping up in interviews, podcasts, and public events, and every time it's the same energy. She calls Turning Point USA her chosen family over and over again. It's like a slogan at this point. The loyalty talk, the gratitude, the unity message. She repeats it so consistently that viewers are starting to clock it hard. And when something sounds that polished, people naturally start asking questions. Because here's what's making folks pause. If Charlie Kirk is at the center of this whole story, why don't we ever hear about his actual parents, his real family?
What do you miss most? How are his parents doing? Because his parents are private. We saw them for the first time at the funeral.
Yes.
You did such a beautiful job there. How are all of y'all doing? You talk a little bit about the kids, but how's your mom doing? I mean, I know she's devastated for you.
My mom is Charlie and my mom. Well, Charlie's family's there. Everyone's hanging in there. We're doing the best to be expected. My mom and Charlie, they were best friends. I would always say that Charlie was her favorite child. Oh. But the thing that was so special about our Sabbath dinners was that it wasn't about religious protocol.
Erika's interviews always circle back to herself and Turning Point USA, but Charlie's parents barely get mentioned at all. No public nod, no visible presence, no acknowledgement. That silence feels loud to a lot of observers. It's not about accusing anyone of anything, it's about optics. And in today's media culture, optics matter. And it's not just random viewers side-eyeing this. Even longtime political watchers know that family visibility often plays a big role in shaping public image. When it's missing, people notice fast. Now, here's where things get even more intense, and it's important to tread carefully because a lot of this is based on public commentary and online reports, not confirmed legal findings. According to claims circulating online, some sources suggest that Charlie Kirk's parents, Catherine and Robert Kirk, are uncomfortable with how everything has unfolded. To be clear, there has been no official public statement laying out detailed accusations from them, but online discussions claim they feel uneasy about the direction the narrative has taken. And honestly, when you look at the scale of the situation, you can understand why emotions might run high. Because the conversation isn't just about wording or public image anymore. It's about money, serious money.
Hey, check this out. Erika Francev, 2019, and Yair Netanyahu. Shabbat Shalom.
Some online commentators have alleged that Turning Point USA saw major financial growth following Charlie's death. That is a heavy claim, and it's important to stress that allegations being discussed online are not proven facts. Still, people are paying attention. Numbers like $90 million have been thrown around in online discussions, and Candace Owens has publicly speculated it could be even higher. Some reports circulating on social media claim TPUSA may have raised up to $140 million in a short 3-month period. Those figures have not been independently verified in this context, but they're fueling debate across political media spaces. And here's why the spotlight lands on Erika. She has served in a leadership role and now is CEO of the organization. That means, fairly or not, her name becomes connected to the organization's financial performance during that time. Leadership comes with visibility, and visibility comes with scrutiny. At this stage, what we're really seeing is public speculation mixed with political tension, not courtroom conclusions. But the scale of the numbers being discussed is exactly why people are watching so closely. And once money enters the chat, the whole vibe shifts fast. It stops being just about feelings or public statements and starts becoming about timing, transparency, and control. When large financial numbers are being discussed online, people naturally begin looking closer at everything: who said what, who knew what, and when things changed. Silence starts to feel louder. Timing starts to look strategic, and leadership decisions get examined under a microscope. So when these conversations picked up steam, people did what the internet always does. They started digging. Old interviews, archived clips, past partnerships, public filings. Not brand new bombshells exactly, more like details that were already out there, but didn't seem important at the time. Now, with everything happening, those same details are being reanalyzed through a different lens.
My name is Joshua Peterson. I worked for Turning Point USA and Turning Point USA Faith, and I knew Charlie Kirk personally. I want to say on the record that there was a inner circle at Turning Point USA that was constantly working against Charlie and his interests and what he wanted to do, as well as there was a Jewish influence in Turning Point that he was not very fond of, that he wanted to get rid of. He tried doing this. He tried creating a Doge department, and he got... Another thing that makes me believe this inner circle was constantly working against Charlie was the stock market branch. Now, the thing about this branch is it's been getting millions of dollars poured into it over the past 4 years now, and that's been seen through their latest tax returns. This stock market group that Turning Point has been throwing millions of dollars into the stock market for the past 4 years now, and Charlie Kirk had no knowledge of that whatsoever. Make it make sense. That sounds like money laundering to me. It sounds like there's some pyramid scheme going on behind the scenes at Turning Point that Charlie did not know about originally.
You've probably heard some online commentators bring up what they call the honeypot theory. To be clear, that remains an unproven speculation circulating in certain corners of the internet. There is no verified evidence supporting that claim. But critics argue that given the current tensions and financial scrutiny, theories that once sounded fringe no longer get dismissed as quickly. That doesn't make them true, it just means public perception has shifted. And when you circle this back to Charlie Kirk's parents, that's where things reportedly start feeling especially uncomfortable. Because when money, influence, and unanswered questions mix together, emotions naturally run high. Some online reports claim that Erika has not publicly engaged with Charlie Kirk's parents during this period. To be clear, there has been no verified public record detailing private communication between them, but critics watching from the outside say the lack of visible interaction feels intentional. And at this point, some aren't calling it avoidance anymore. They're calling it disrespect. That's the word being used in online commentary, not a proven fact, but the perception is growing louder. Meanwhile, Erika has stayed very active in the public eye. She's been promoting Charlie Kirk's new book, doing interviews, making appearances, and representing Turning Point USA across multiple platforms. The messaging has stayed focused, polished, and consistent. From a PR standpoint, it's strategic, but from an emotional standpoint, some observers say it feels imbalanced. Take a second and think about that. Charlie's parents experienced the same tragic loss. His sister did too. Yet for nearly 3 months, there's been very little public conversation about how they're doing. No major updates, no visible inclusion in the broader narrative. That doesn't automatically mean they're being excluded. Families often grieve privately, but when the public spotlight stays fixed on one person's media presence, people start asking questions.
How you doing? How are the kids?
Doing the best you could expect. God is good, and we have the most amazing Turning Point USA family. They've rallied around myself, my children, and, chosen family is everything. And then, of course, we're blessed with our family itself.
And here's the moment that really got social media buzzing. Erika recently appeared on Fox and Friends. During the interview, the host directly asked about Charlie's parents and also mentioned Erika's own mother. Viewers immediately dissected her response, not because of what she said alone, but how she said it. Tone, body language, framing. In today's digital world, every pause gets replayed, every word gets analyzed. Right now, what we're seeing isn't proof of wrongdoing, it's a battle over perception, and perception can shape a story just as powerfully as facts. During that interview, viewers noticed something right away. When asked about Charlie Kirk's parents, she gave a brief acknowledgement and then smoothly shifted the focus to her own mother. It was quick, it was polished, and it didn't go unnoticed. Social media lit up almost instantly, because when moments like that stack up, people stop calling it coincidence and start calling it a pattern. She also said that Charlie was her favorite child, a deeply emotional statement, but almost immediately after, she pivoted again. The conversation moved towards Sabbath dinners at her mother's home, family traditions, and warm personal memories. Now, there's nothing wrong with sharing family stories, but critics paying close attention felt the timing of that transition was strategic. To them, it looked like she was carefully steering away from discussing Charlie's parents directly. And then there was the wording. She repeatedly used "my" when referring to her own family. She didn't refer to Charlie's parents as "my in-laws." She didn't offer a public update about how they were coping. She didn't elaborate on their emotional state at all. That absence stood out to a lot of viewers. It created an impression, not proof, but an impression that there may be distance there. It's important to say clearly, none of this confirms a private rift. Families handle grief differently, and not every relationship plays out publicly. But in high-profile situations, language matters, word choice matters. Even what isn't said can shape public perception. And right now, perception is driving the conversation in a big way. And when you line that up with earlier moments, critics say the pattern feels even louder. Take the memorial service. It wasn't described as a small, private gathering. It was a large public event with dramatic production elements, including lighting effects and stage presentation. Some viewers online questioned why Charlie Kirk's parents were not visibly present, though it's important to note that families sometimes choose to grieve privately and may avoid media-heavy settings. There has been no official statement explaining their absence, but what truly caught people off guard was something else. During her speech, Erika publicly forgave the alleged shooter.
On the cross, our Savior said, "Father, forgive them, for they not know what they do." That man, that young man, I forgive him.
That moment spread quickly across media platforms. Now, forgiveness is a personal and often faith-based decision. Many people respected her right to express that. At the same time, others wondered why Charlie's parents were not mentioned in the speech at all, not once. That contrast stood out. Critics began asking tough but still speculative questions. What if his parents weren't ready for a public declaration of forgiveness? What if they were still processing shock and grief? When a statement is made on a national stage, some viewers feel it can unintentionally sound like it represents the entire family, even if that wasn't the intention. And here's another layer people pointed out. At that time, investigations were still ongoing. Authorities had not publicly released every detail. The legal process was still unfolding. Declaring forgiveness so soon after the tragedy felt powerful to some and premature to others. None of this proves wrongdoing. It highlights how high-profile grief, faith, and public messaging can collide in complicated ways. But when emotions are raw and the spotlight is bright, every decision carries weight. Critics keep circling back to one phrase: something feels off. And then there's the footage from the Medal of Freedom ceremony. If you've watched the clips, you already know why people are talking. The optics sparked debate fast. During the event honoring Charlie Kirk, viewers noticed Erika standing at a visible distance from his parents. Instead of being positioned beside them, she was seen alongside political figures and dignitaries. Now, seating and staging at major ceremonies are often pre-arranged by organizers alone, so positioning doesn't automatically signal conflict. But perception moves quick. Online commentators started asking why she wasn't standing directly with her in-laws during such a historic moment. For many families, physical closeness during ceremonies like that carries symbolic weight. It sends a message of unity. So when people saw distance, they read into it. Charlie was married to Erika for a few years. His parents raised him for his entire life. That emotional distinction resonates with a lot of observers. Some commentators have argued that the Medal of Freedom recognition, symbolically at least, least, should have centered his parents more visibly. That's an opinion circulating online, not an official criticism from organizers, but it's part of the broader conversation. And critics say the pattern doesn't stop there. They point out that Erika rarely mentions Charlie's parents unless directly asked. She frequently honors Charlie's legacy in interviews and speeches, speaking warmly about his mission and impact. But references to his parents don't seem to come up organically. That absence stands out to some viewers. To be clear, none of this confirms personal conflict. Public events are carefully staged, and families often navigate grief in complex ways. Still, in high-profile moments like a Medal of Freedom ceremony, optics matter, and people are watching every detail closely.
She often speaks with passion about his work, his influence, and the movement he helped grow. She highlights his impact, his message, his leadership. But critics say there's one thing missing from that praise. She rarely acknowledges the people who raised him, the parents who shaped his values long before politics, media platforms, and national attention entered the picture. That absence keeps standing out to certain viewers. Instead, she repeatedly emphasizes that Turning Point USA is her family now. And that's where the conversation starts getting more complicated, because alongside the grief narrative, there are also online allegations about internal tensions within the organization prior to Charlie Kirk's death. To be clear, what follows is based on claims circulating online, not confirmed legal findings. Some commentators allege that before his death, Charlie had concerns about internal management and ordered a review of certain operations after noticing what they describe as red flags. There is no publicly verified documentation confirming misconduct, but discussions have referenced the possibility of an internal audit being considered. Additionally, a former TPUSA employee has reportedly spoken publicly about concerns related to organizational decisions, including financial strategies and investment activity. Again, these remain allegations and have not been proven in court. No official findings have established wrongdoing. But here's why people are connecting dots. When large fundraising numbers are being debated online and past internal concerns are resurfacing, the financial conversation starts to look different to critics. It shifts from emotional to analytical.
Sorry, but that whole thing right there is frustrating. And I'm going to explain to you why I just do not accept any of that. First and foremost, the idea that she does not have time. Ow. Okay. To that point that people are making hundreds and thousands of dollars, I just don't get how there's not someone on this very large PR team, as we're seeing these PR campaigns go out, that doesn't go, hey, maybe we should strike that. They made $40 million like 2 nights ago at Mar-a-Lago. Maybe that feels kind of a little bit like let them eat cake-ish. Oh, and we've made more than, separately from Mar-a-Lago, Turning Point USA, since Charlie was killed, just so you guys know this is a fact, has made more than $100 million. That is separate from the $40 million they made at Mar-a-Lago the other night. So since Charlie has died, that organization has taken in $140 million.
And then there's the public tension with Candace Owens. Erika previously criticized Candace over YouTube earnings and monetization. That moment is now being replayed by commentators who argue that questioning someone else's online income while your own organization's finances are under scrutiny creates a complicated optic. None of this confirms misconduct, but in high-profile political spaces, perception builds fast, and once financial questions enter the narrative, people start examining everything twice. At the same time, online reports continue to circulate claiming that Turning Point USA may have brought in as much as $140 million within a 3-month window. Those figures have not been independently verified in this context, but they're being widely discussed across political media spaces. And that's exactly why the tone of the conversation has shifted. When loyalty messaging, major fundraising numbers, and public silence around certain relationships all collide at once, the narrative stops feeling simple. It starts feeling layered, complicated, uncomfortable. That's the word critics keep using. Some commentators have gone as far as calling it textbook hypocrisy. That's their opinion, not a legal finding. And Candace Owens didn't hold back either. She responded publicly, pointed to financial data that's already publicly available through nonprofit filings, and claimed that TPUSA financially benefited the most in the period following Charlie Kirk's death. Once she said that out loud, the debate took off fast. Now, it's important to say clearly, fundraising spikes after major public events are not automatically proof of wrongdoing. Nonprofits often see increases in donations during moments of national attention. That's a documented pattern across many organizations. But when critics frame it alongside internal tension rumors and public messaging choices, it fuels suspicion. Meanwhile, Erika continues repeating that TPUSA is her family, over and over again. Critics argue that this phrasing creates emotional insulation, because if the organization is framed as family, then questioning it can feel personal. That's the perception some viewers have formed. None of this proves misconduct. What it proves is that messaging, money, and timing together can create a storm of public debate, and right now, that storm is loud. Critics say the framing sometimes feels like anyone asking financial questions is attacking a grieving widow instead of raising legitimate concerns. That's the tension at the center of this debate. Candace Owens publicly challenged what she described as a contradiction. On one side, Erika criticized certain public figures for monetizing their platforms. On the other, according to widely discussed nonprofit filings and online commentary, Turning Point USA has experienced record-breaking fundraising periods. That contrast is what pushed the conversation from quiet side comments into full public debate. And then there's the fundraiser at Mar-a-Lago. Erika hosted a private event where tickets were reportedly priced at $10,000 per plate. $10,000. That number alone grabbed attention. The purpose was to raise additional funds for TPUSA, even as discussions online were already referencing nine-figure revenue claims from previous months. Critics began asking, if fundraising numbers were already strong, why push another high-ticket event so quickly? It's important to note that large nonprofits hold premium fundraising dinners, especially in political spaces. High-dollar events are not unusual in that world. Still, timing matters when public scrutiny is already high. Glenn Beck attended the event and posted about it publicly, saying nearly 900 people showed up. He also mentioned that TPUSA has major initiatives planned for 2026. Big projects require big budgets. That's standard organizational logic. Expansion, media production, campus outreach, political advocacy, those things cost serious money. But here's where critics connect another dot. Some podcast ranking trackers have reportedly shown TPUSA-affiliated shows ranking lower on platforms like Apple Podcasts compared to previous peaks. Rankings fluctuate constantly, and a drop in charts doesn't automatically equal declining influence. Still, skeptics are asking, if audience metrics appear to cool, why does fundraising seem to intensify? None of these questions confirm misconduct. Fundraising growth, media cycles, and political strategy often overlap in complicated ways, but when revenue headlines, public feuds, and optics collide all at once, the scrutiny only gets louder. And right now, it's very loud.
When you go after my family, my Turning Point USA family, my Charlie Kirk show family, when you go after the people that I love, and you're making hundreds and thousands of dollars every single episode, going after the people that I love because somehow they're in on this.
And once again, critics say the numbers just aren't lining up. Some commentators point out that shows connected to Turning Point USA once ranked comfortably in the top tier of political podcasts. Now, based on publicly available chart trackers, they appear to be ranking lower than before. Rankings naturally rise and fall. That's normal in digital media. But to people watching this unfold in real time, the shift feels sudden. And when audience momentum looks like it's cooling while fundraising remains aggressive, it raises eyebrows fast. So let's zoom out for a second. The questions being asked now go way beyond grief or complicated family dynamics. Critics are asking why Erika appears so focused on shaping the narrative. Why emphasize loyalty messaging over directly addressing lingering public curiosity about the circumstances surrounding Charlie Kirk's assassination? Law enforcement investigations follow their own timelines, and not every detail becomes public immediately. That's important to remember. But when updates feel limited, speculation fills the gap. Then there are those honeypot rumors we mentioned earlier. To be clear again, those remain unproven online theories with no verified evidence backing them. However, some critics who once dismissed them outright are now revisiting the timeline with fresh eyes, not because there's confirmed proof, but because when multiple controversies overlap, people start connecting dots whether they should or not. When skeptics line everything up, the reported financial surge, the high-ticket fundraisers, the non-stop media appearances, the limited public focus on Charlie's parents, and the constant repetition of TPUSA is my family, they say it creates a picture that feels calculated rather than accidental. That's their interpretation, not a legal conclusion, but perception shapes public trust, and trust can shift quickly. Add in the defensive tone some viewers perceive and the pushback against critics, and many online voices are landing on the same uneasy thought. None of this feels random. Now I want to hear from you. Do you think this situation is about grief, power, money, messaging, or something else entirely? Drop your thoughts in the comments and let's talk about it. If this video made you think, make sure you hit like, share it with someone who's been following the story, and subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. And I'll see you in the next one.